Hey guys, I still am gonna upload the video I recorded of Michael Robbins's report. But when you've got some thought processes, you just have to get them off your mind and put them into something. So I'm going to do that. I did it yesterday. I quite enjoyed it, but it felt therapeutic. So I'm doing it again today. Um, One of my particular areas that I enjoy is the investigative kind of process, is finding weaknesses and holes in some of the stories, things that just that doesn't make sense, right? And what I'm going to show now, right, is some thought process, and I'm very much doing this with the help of Asshole Media, who we all know and love. She's incredible. She's got a fantastic website up. So I will be putting a link to that in the description. Please do go and have a look at the amazing timelines with links and things. Honestly, and the creative art that she does as well, which is just provides so much humor. I can't thank her enough. Um, so I just want to go back to this. These text messages are between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Um, Now, this is not something that I'm pointing out. This has already been pointed out, but there's a couple of things I want to point out, and then I want to get to my own thought process. These are dated the 12th of April, right? And as someone has pointed out, right, they're calling him a clown and a doofus and all this other crap, right? And already shitting on him from a great height. Not a single instance of any harassment has taken place. That is in her complaint. They've not even begun filming, right? And not even the fat shaming has happened, right? Because on the 12th of April, these text messages are written. On the 25th of April, which was, I believe, like a day or two after Baldoni asked Dan Saladino Lively's weight. That's when the whole meeting, he was summoned to the penthouse and, screamed at the first time for, asking about Blake Lively's weight. So we are still days away from anything remotely bad, according to Lively's complaint, happening, and she's already calling him a doofus and a clown and all the others, and just talking about him in a really shitty way, despite the text messages she's sending him with all the love, and we're just so great, we can do anything we want, and blah 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 blah. Just cementing her role in this as being a manipulative. I could use so many words here, just a really, really manipulative person. I'm going to try and keep it as toned down at the moment, right? So, at the point that nothing had happened, we can see how Lively and Taylor Swift were talking about Justin Baldoni. Okay. And at that, I'm getting the sense that that's what they're like. That's quite a normal thing for them. Because, you don't see Taylor Swift pushing back in the text messages going, wow, what's this guy done to get under your skin? So there is that. Well, there was something else. Let me just go to it. And then, yeah, that's it. So then it kind of occurred to me, well, hold on a minute. She's taken that issue with him already, right? Before anything has actually gone wrong on set, any incidents have taken place, anything's been said really that's particularly bad. I was like, okay, well, I guess thinking back to the deposition transcripts, I remember reading, there was a whole conversation around circumcision, right? Now, it's a whole wild thing that she's okay with talking about medical procedures being done on children's genitalia, but then swings massively to the other opposite end of the scale when a grown man just all he says is, "I've had the procedure done myself." He's not describing anything, he's not talking about it, he's just saying, my parents made the same decision for me." Um, and how twisted that was. Now, apparently that was said in front of staff, Ryan Reynolds was there, et cetera, and it got me thinking, right? That all happened in December 2022, yet 2 months later, Ryan Reynolds sent this ridiculous, over the top, theatrical message. Of course, when he wanted something, to Justin. Um, and it's like, where is it? At the bottom. That's it. I knew it was there. I happen to adore you, Justin. This was written after the circumcision comment, which apparently made Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively really, really weary to work with him. And it's so confusing to see all of this stuff, like, and then we can go actually one further again, thanks to asshole media. This text exchange took place again 12th of April, right? Same day as the text exchange between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively took place, where she's calling him a clown and a doofus. And again, the same thing. No incidents on set have happened, right? We are a mere 6 weeks away from when Ryan Reynolds sent that rambling text message telling Justin how much he adored him and wanted to get his producer's face tattooed on his perineum, right? The same day as the Taylor Swift Blake Lively text exchange, this text exchange took place, right? Ryan Reynolds and Liz Plank. And I'm finding it hard to believe, right? Given that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively had been quite long-standing friends with Liz Plank by this point, years. But, even before Liz Plank joined the podcast with Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath. And I'm struggling to believe that Ryan Reynolds is only now finding out what a monster Justin Baldoni is. That suddenly, despite the fact that nothing has happened between his earlier long-winded text telling Justin he loved him to this point, that all of a sudden he's confused by Justin, needs guidance, and Liz Plank is only now just starting to think, "Oh yeah, I should have told you." I don't believe this. I think this was all just, well, in case they get any text messages, in case they ask for our text messages, let's have something in place. Because I really do think that this was a long-term kind of plot. The evidence is now more increasingly starting to support that. But I'm not buying this. I don't believe well, personally, I don't believe for a second that, given that Ryan Reynolds was, happy to talk about his perineum, that he was, remotely offended that Justin Baldoni happened to sort of mention that in the context of a mutual discussion between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, talking about, the decision to circumcise a newborn baby boy. Justin Baldoni merely pointed out the fact that his parents made the decision to have him circumcised as a baby. I do not believe that they were so grossly offended and, "Oh my god, there's a red flag, but don't worry, I brushed past it and I was, I continued on like the hero I'm meant to be." And then, a couple of weeks later, 6 weeks late after that, Ryan Reynolds is then sorry, 8 weeks after that, Ryan Reynolds is sending messages of adoration and love. "What a great collaboration you and Blake are, blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, can you just rearrange your entire filming schedule to accommodate me? But I love you, and I want your producer's face on my genitalia because we're so comfortable talking about fucking genitalia. But, in a couple of years' time, we're gonna put it into a legal complaint that we're not, and we're offended, and we can't get ourselves out of bed at the mere mention of it. But then we've then switched from there, right? This is where it's like fucking trying to watch a game of tennis from the sidelines, right? Where you're watching a ball go from one side to another, to another, to another. 6 weeks after that love bombing text to Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds is writing this to Liz Plank. Liz Plank, who has been a mutual friend of everyone for years already. And at no point thought to mention to Ryan Reynolds, hey, I have all these problems with these guys, Never once mentioned that she had a problem with the podcast at all. Now all of a sudden, she's like, oh yeah, that was problematic. It was the worst. Literally says it was truly one of the worst days of my life. I don't believe her. I mean, there are so many other things we could really pull apart here. It's really pissing me off. Like, I know I've said this on X, but again, I will say it here, right? In one of the text messages, Ryan Reynolds refers to Ange Giannetti and Todd Black as effectual elderly people. And my response to that is this, right? It's just the sheer hypocrisy that it is all right for Ryan Reynolds, a man, to be opining on Ange Giannetti's age, a woman's age. But, God forbid Justin Baldoni then talks about Blake Lively's weight, because that is enough to have several hours long sessions of screaming at the man and then drag him into a lawsuit very publicly, which is, makes its way into the New York Times anyway. Does not make sense. Does not make sense at all. Okay, I just need to get that off my chest. Thank you for listening.